here I am again. I'm trying a different setup. If you are looking at the video, it's not great because I have to figure out how to look at the camera, and that's stressful. So I'm going to ignore that this week, but I do want to talk about some fun stuff that I am taking on. My next kind of passion project and why it came about and what my steps are right now and how far I've come and what the plans are for the future. I have spent the last 5 years or so making things, whether it's writing my book or 2 books that I've written. Actually, 3. Sorry, I wrote my memoirs about unschooling also. So there's 3 books I wrote. I have sewn, I've made jewelry, I've just created things. I've been super creative and leaning into it and having fun with it and just really having a ball learning new things, crocheting, whatever inspires me, I just go for it, right? And it's been really wonderful for me. It's been very healing as I figure out what I'm doing next. But I haven't had any real direction. And I tried a few times to do events, and I work my quote unquote day job is a server, and I work evenings as a server and weekends for sure. But lately I've been feeling the pain of 51 years and working as a waitress in a high volume restaurant is really hard on the body. And I've been thinking, what are my steps? What can I do to be kind to my 55-year-old self or my 65-year-old self? And that means I need to start really figuring out how to make this creative part of my life profitable. I went through the whole process of, is it good enough? I've worked through all of that, and I now feel like, oh, okay, yeah, this is good stuff. People like the book. I like the book, but people like the book. If people read the book, it's of value to them, so I can make money on this. And not just with my books, but also with my art. I have sewn really cute zipper pouches that are useful and last a long time, and they're well made. So now that I'm confident in these pieces, my creative works, and that they are of value, the next thing is, okay, let's sell them. So I've gone to a few markets. I have had success at them. But I've always had to balance, do I go without working my day job, my serving job, to do this event? And the weekday events are hard to come by. So my Friday and Saturday night shifts at work, which as a waitress are very important because that's when you make money and that's when the restaurant needs you because all the servers need to be there. I was having to choose, like, all right, well, I'll take this weekend off to do this event, but then I wasn't actually making money. I was like, it was like this weird, I have to replace one with the other, and I can't take off every single weekend to do lots of events because then I won't have a job anymore. So what I needed, and I've been searching for everywhere, is a weeknight event so that I can say, all right, I'm not going to work this night at the restaurant. I'm going to sell my stuff on this night. And then I can still work my Fridays, Saturdays at the restaurant. And I looked everywhere. I tried to find stuff, and everything is on the weekends. Every vendor event is on the weekends. There's a really cool farmer's market that meets on Wednesdays, but they only do food-related stuff. So no creative stuff. And I started thinking about, like, how am I going to find this? And then I also live in a small town. It's about half an hour away from where I work, and it's a pretty big, like, that's where most people go to do things. Like, people who live in my hometown go to the other town, which has a university and has restaurants. It has stores. People shop there instead of in town here. I mean, we have a Walmart and stuff, but paper. But the choice to do events is like, okay, we always have to leave to go do them. And then it occurred to me, oh, Right. I have a master's degree in recreation, sport, and tourism. I have taken coursework, graduate level coursework on event planning and what events need, and I completely understand them. I have worked in a restaurant with customer service and people organizing my whole life. I have organized homeschool events. I have gone to a lot of vendor events. I have owned businesses, multiple businesses. I've owned a game store and a restaurant. Planning a weekly night vendor event, it's not hard for me. I have all of the skills to do it, and I just need to do it. And that kind of just hit me. It was like, oh, let's just get this done. Let's do it. I can create the thing I need, and then it's going to help me sell my books and let people know there's a local author who writes fantasy books that are amazing for older women and everybody else. It's a good book for anybody who wants to read it. Might be a little boring for a 2-year-old, but literally a 6-year-old would enjoy it, I think. All right. Anyway, and my art, and I can sell that, and I can connect with community members and encourage creative acts, and it just kind of really falls in line with everything I want to do and get community, build community. So then I was thinking, okay, what does this entail? What would it be for me to make this happen? I don't want to do it alone, because these things always take a team. You know, if you do it alone, first of all, you get exhausted. Second, I need coworkers, co-inspired people. So I reached out to my buddy, my craft booth buddy, who really does this full time. That's what she does. She goes to these events, and so they have a lot of knowledge that can help, and also the excitement to bring along with it. And then they have a friend that is also going to join us. So I'm excited. I'm meeting them for coffee tomorrow, and we're going to just go over all of my notes. And I've already created quite a bit. Went in Canva and I created a business plan, because to do these kinds of things right, you need to have a plan. And I'm working on coming up. We need a name. We need, it's just the fun stuff. The fun part of all of this is this creative, making something, creating something, right? And then my next steps are to, after I talk with them and after we meet, really coming up with who in town we can connect with. Obviously there's other vendors. I would love to have local vendors, but we can bring in other vendors. I definitely want it to be creatively driven. I don't want to have what are they called, where you sell for other things, and I've done that before. There's nothing wrong with it, but I don't want that I want this to be really supportive of people who are creating and using their creativity, versus just entrepreneurship. And I saw there's this woman who makes teas locally. So that would be a great example of somebody who could come and have a booth there. So definitely reaching out to different vendors and creatives. Then reaching out to city officials, because if we could get the support of the city, it benefits the city. It would, I think, be really a great thing. What is this? Okay, going back to my coursework, you need your stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders in this? And the local businesses are stakeholders because they would benefit from it. The city, and then park district I want to reach out to, because they have a lot of space that might be good for this. So that's the next step, is that kind of reaching out to people who might be interested in making this happen. And then I've been thinking a lot about what does this mean and what would we call it? And as a name, I think our community is really maybe not unique anymore, because maybe a lot of communities are like this in the United States, but we are We're a classic example of melting pot. This town used to be an Air Force base, and it closed down in the 90s. So there's a lot of people left here who are kind of that classic Americana, Air Force, military kind of families. And then it's an inexpensive place. So there's a lot of people like me who came here to cut costs. My rent is half what it was where I lived in the town 30 minutes away, so well worth a drive. But we love it for a lot of other reasons now. It's nice for many reasons. A lot of my neighbors are from Puerto Rico, and there's a lot of Latin American immigrants, and there's a lot of people who moved down here from Chicago, from the South Side, because of the inexpensive rent. And we're right on the railroad tracks that go to New Orleans from Chicago. So it's like there's definitely ways for people to show up here coming from the south and coming from the north. And we're right on a highway, so there's just a lot. And then the final thing, and this is kind of like the thing that's most exciting to me, I love the idea of being here for the community, but I'm also here to make money and reach a lot of people. And a few years ago, the Park District opened a sports complex, and it started with just baseball. But I spoke with the man who was running it a few years ago, and he said that the first year they had like 40,000 people come through, and then 500,000, and they were on track last year to have 1 million people come through for events at the sports complex, which is like 4 baseball fields and a lot of soccer fields, like really nice high-end stuff for leagues and stuff to meet. And like it's just a lot of people travel to come here. So wow, what an opportunity if we can figure out how to have this fun event that would be something for moms to do while their kids are playing baseball, or while you're waiting for the next thing. Let's go over and check out these vendors selling cool stuff. That would be great for the community members to be there making money off of those people, keeping those dollars in the community, right? So there's just a lot of potential there. And it's really exciting to think that we could make this work. And the more I think about it, the more excited I am. And I feel like this is a really great next step. I was putting a lot of energy into how do I sell my book and this social media stuff. And do I, making posts and doing TikToks and doing Facebook posts and making videos and making Canva images, all for the book. And I've been exhausted and I've been kind of at a standstill for writing more, because it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work to write a book. And the first one was completely a passion project for me. And the second one was like, let's see if I can follow this up. Can I write something else that people enjoy? And they do, but I'm not reaching readers. And that makes you tired. Like, I don't want to put the energy in for the $10 I'm going to make, okay. I don't want to put the energy in for the 300 I'm going to make on a book. I know the idea is the build, and you get there where you have more and more books and more people find you. But that's such a long slog, and it's exhausting, and it is very demoralizing at times. But I'm really good with people. I know this about myself. When I talk to people about my book, they are very interested, and many of them buy a copy. So the way for me to move forward and have real progress and real, let's get this done, let's get people to find this book, is for me to get in front of people. So I'm really excited about that. And then I can sell my art too, because that's fun. And it gives me, that's what I can do in my free time, is make some doilies or whatever. I've never really made doilies, but I have made coasters or whatever, blankets and baby quilts and zipper pouches and earrings, all that stuff, which is just another creative outlet. And creativity makes me happy. So anyway, that's where I'm at this week. And I know the podcasts aren't super fantastic, but I feel like if I just keep doing this every week, I'll get better. And then maybe it'll be something that's exciting for people. But I know that the few of you who are listening are wonderful and they're there for me. And thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Yeah, there's my big project. What's yours this week? Do you have one, or do you have a little project? Sometimes it's not the big things. Sometimes it's just, this week I'm going to sew something. Yeah, just whatever. Find something creative to do. It makes me feel so good. I'm sure it'll help you too. Thanks for listening.